Let's get started. So here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
The Business Bros Podcast was created for you. Learn from the business professionals who come to share their stories. Find out what's working in business, on social media, what's hot and what's not, straight from the mouths of successful entrepreneurs out there doing the real work. And now, welcome to another episode of
Business
Bros.
All right. Cam, it's that time, dude. It's time for you to drop some heat, baby.
Here we go. All right, all you business pros out there. Before we jump into the show, just a quick reminder to please subscribe on whichever platform it is that you're listening to us on today. Give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe, drop a review, help other like-minded business owners find value from our awesome guests while we rise up in those podcast rankings. We'll sincerely appreciate every single one of you for it. And if you want to be a guest on the show, we'd love to have you on to learn from you as well. Go to www.businessbros.biz, schedule your time. Don't forget to follow us on all our social medias at Business Bros Pod. All right, everybody, we are so excited and honored to bring yet another incredible guest to the Business Bros Pod. You know, I could tell you all about our guest today, but then he might have to... I'm kidding. But there are definitely parts about our guest's life that will be forever classified because our guest is member of one of the toughest, roughest, most badass groups of people in the world, a U.S. Navy SEAL. After 26 years of service as a SEAL and sniper, our guest found himself struggling to adjust to civilian life, suffering from both physical and psychological traumas only other SEALs will ever really understand. Our guest turned to alcohol and prescription drugs for relief, but found that instead of relief, drinking only made matters worse. Finally, our guest found what he was looking for in cannabis, specifically his discovery of THC-free CBD. So tune in to learn about our guest experiences as a SEAL, how going through the toughest, most grueling training known to man served him as an entrepreneur, and how CBD helped give him back his life and how it can help you too. Joining us today from Naked Warrior Recovery out of Hawaii, welcome to the show, William Branum.
All right, there we go, William. All right, so man, 3 minutes into the show, I didn't know what you were gonna get. What did you expect so far? How's it going so far?
That was quite the intro, and I thought I was gonna just come out with the gun show blazing, and just drop some bombs in here.
All right, man, you did get the gun show. We got a little bit of tombstone in there. All right, let's start from the beginning, man. Navy SEAL training. Let's talk about what it takes to become a Navy SEAL. What did you go in thinking? What did you come out becoming?
So, you know what? A lot of people ask me, is it more physical or is it more mental? Is there like a ratio that kind of goes along with that? And what I generally say is it's the ratio is it's 100% mental and it's 100% physical. And I really went in kind of like a little bit naive and like kind of thinking like, how hard can it be? Well, I'm going to tell you it's pretty hard, but it's not impossible. It's completely doable. Anyone can do it if they really are marginally fit. And it's going to be a little bit harder if you're not very physically fit, but you can still do it. And all you got to do is just keep going. And another misconception that I had is that SEAL training was going to be the hard part. It's actually the easy part because you show up every day. They tell you what to do. And it's not until you get to the SEAL team, that's when the hard work actually starts. Like it's physically demanding. You get, it's a selection process. And there's actually people who make it through SEAL training. They get to the SEAL team and they realize this is not for them. And they end up leaving either voluntarily or because they couldn't cut it as a Navy SEAL.
It is what it is, man. It is the elite of the elite. So yeah, some people ain't gonna make it. They're just gonna ring the bell and get out. I'm done. Maybe I'll try again later. Maybe I won't. I'll just continue in my
Losers always whine about their best.
Exactly, Sean. Exactly.
I like the second half of that quote right there, as a matter of fact.
It's true. They always, exactly. But winners go home, and you got to watch the movie. It's The Rock, ladies and gentlemen. It's The Rock. All right. So what did you learn as a Navy SEAL? Like, what part of what you were doing while you were in service did you bring with you outside?
So I think the part that I brought out, of the service is a mindset. And the mindset that, and I had to figure this out. Like when I was in the SEAL teams, I had a badass team, a badass mission. I knew what I was going to do every day. And when I left the military, I lost all of that. I didn't have that anymore. So I had to figure out what my mindset was, what my mission was, what my purpose was. And so my purpose is to help other veterans and first responders. You know, we have a mission of 22 to 0 because currently there are 22 veterans take their lives every single day. And we've lost more veterans to suicide than we have in 20 years of sustained combat since 9/11. So that's our mission. But, you know, one of the other things that I brought out of the military is that there's a mindset that people can have and where they can think like a Navy SEAL. And that mindset is, I've kind of broken it down into like 5 ways to think like a Navy SEAL. And it's an acronym. And the acronym is pretty easy to remember. I think that you will not forget it easily. The acronym is NAKED, NAKED. And so kind of my slogan is to get naked. And what NAKED stands for is the N is for never quit. And never quit it doesn't mean like never quit smoking or drinking or drugs or, you know, pornography or whatever your vice is. It means never quit trying to improve yourself. It means never, you know, if you have something that you want to achieve, it doesn't matter if it's you're pursuing a relationship, if you're trying to accomplish a mission, if you're trying to get a degree, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Becoming a Navy SEAL, starting a podcast, it doesn't matter. If you want to achieve something, it may seem unattainable, but what you do is you chop that thing up, that project, that purpose up into tiny pieces, and then you consume those pieces every single day. Rome wasn't built in a day, but it was built every single day. It didn't fall in a day either. It fell every day after it was built. So in order to never quit, you have to break your goals, your dreams, your aspirations up into small bite-sized pieces and attack those things every day. And that's part of never quit. The A is accept failure. You know, failure is part of learning. Failure is part of success. And if you look at the most successful people in the world, you know, let's just say Michael Jordan, the best basketball player of all time. He's missed more than 9,000 shots in his career. He's lost more than 300 games. He missed, I think, 36 game-winning shots. And you know what he did every time he missed a shot? Even if he won the game, he would go back and he would practice that shot over and over. So failure actually made him better. You know, Elon Musk and Steve Jobs, both CEOs of companies that they started, they were fired when they were CEOs. Thomas Edison, who created the light bulb, that guy discovered 10,000 ways to not invent the incandescent light bulb. More than 10,000 failures in order to create, you know, modern electricity, the modern light bulb that we still use until just a couple of years ago when we switched over to LED and fluorescent. So the K, so that is accept failure. Failure is, so I call failure a foundation to success. So sometimes it's a staircase to success. You fail, and then there's success, and you just hop right over it, and you get ready for the next challenge. Fail, and you hop over it. And so your foundation gets bigger. You have better lessons that you've learned along the way. The K is kill mediocrity. And, you know, in this world of social media, of scrolling, of whatever, we're just surrounded by mediocrity. And that's what makes us less of who we are. You know, it's very easy to find excuses to not work out, find excuses to not attack your goals. It's easy to find these excuses. And every time you find excuses, your ego wins a lot of times. And so if you can battle your ego and you can kill the lessons or the things that your ego tells you, you don't need to do that, you can do that tomorrow. You're killing mediocrity every time that you win against competing against your ego. The E is expose your fears. And I don't mean like what goes bump in the night. I don't mean like spiders or lions and tigers and bears, oh my. I mean like these fears that live in the back of your brain, in the deep recesses of the dark part of your brain. I think fear kind of like a vampire. Vampires, they live at night. They work at night. They come out at night. They live in the darkness. They also suck the life out of you. And that's really what fear does to a lot of us. Not the fear, again, of like something that goes bump in the night, but the thing that keeps you awake at night, that thing that won't let you go to sleep, that fear of like someone, you know, talking badly about you, or that email that you're afraid that's going to come in, or that phone call that you don't want to have, those fears. So what you have to do is you have to take those fears from the back of your brain, pull them out, expose them to the light. And so that's easier said than done. But, you know, let's just say you have a fear of public speaking. What you need to do is you need to go find a public speaking class or an acting class and get in front of people and start speaking. Maybe you were beat up as a kid and you have some low self-esteem. Go take Brazilian jiu-jitsu classes and you will very quickly create some self-esteem. What you'll do, because you'll learn some techniques, and then you'll be forced to fight someone, physically fight someone every single night that you go to that class. You're going to expose those fears, and pretty soon you'll control those fears, and those fears will no longer control you. One other thing that you can do for fear, I have a business coach. His name is Sharon Srivatsa, and he's been a very successful businessman his entire life. And he says that fear does not exist on paper. So what he does, he's driving in his fancy, Tesla or whatever he's driving today. And he's like, has all these fears, this anxiety. What he'll do is he'll pull over, he'll go to a Starbucks, order a coffee, sit down with a pen and a piece of paper. He'll write out the things that are bothering him. He'll read them out loud. And he's like, really? That's what was bothering me? That was what was giving me so much stress and anxiety. He exposed those fears. And so he took control of them, and they no longer were controlling him. And the D is to do the work. This all sounds great. It's super easy to do or super complex to do. You have to do the work every single day. And it's because, we're talking about taking action. We're talking about killing mediocrity. We're talking about never quitting, accepting failure, killing mediocrity, exposing your fears. It's all work. It all requires work. If you want to be successful in anything that you do in this life, you have to put in the work. And so the D is do the work. Never quit, accept failure, kill mediocrity, expose your fears, and do the work. That's what Getting Naked is all about.
Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about. And then you're right. You ain't gonna forget Get Naked. That's pretty solid marketing right there. Let's hover on that a little bit. Like, this sounds like a realization that you came through over time. So let's take me back a little bit. You exit the military, you get out, and you get into civilian life. Now, you said, there's so many people that are committing suicide every single day. Walk me through your mental state. And I mean, the first thing is never quit. So suicide is the permanent quit. Like, walk me through that mental state and how you came up with that first step.
So as I was kind of coming up with this and figuring out what my mission was, because, all the business professionals out there, they say, yeah, you can go and create a business, you can create a company, you can, to make money, but what's your why? What's the purpose? What are you trying to, what problem are you trying to solve? And so I had to, I had some, internal look inside of me. I'm like, look, I'm a veteran. My transition from the military to civilian life is the hardest military mission I've ever been on. Like, only thing I've ever known my entire adult life is the military. I knew, like I said, I knew who my team was. I knew who my family was. I knew what I was going to do every single day. I knew what my purpose was. And when I got out, I no longer had that purpose. So I was struggling, the way that I was coping with the baggage that I have. I don't call it PTSD. I call it a baggage. And so we all have baggage. It doesn't matter who we are or where we are, what walk of life, what our occupation is. We all have baggage from something somewhere. We all carry it around. And oftentimes that's our ego. And we have to compete against that ego every single day. And the other part of kind of Get Naked is taking that ego off, putting it in the corner, exposing yourself, becoming vulnerable, and finding that healing. But, I was drinking glasses of vodka a night just to turn this noise off that I had in my head. And, I've never considered suicide. But I know that my dad, he took his own life soon after I graduated after SEAL training. So he is one of those 22 a day that CBD could help out. He's, someone, one of those 22 a day that the SEAL mindset of never quit, accept failure, this Get Naked mindset could help out. And but so we never know what other people are dealing with on a daily basis. Once I was brave enough, like, people are like, you're not scared of anything, you're Navy SEAL. I'm like, I had lots of fears. I had lots of fears, and I had to become brave enough to sort of expose those fears to the daylight. And once I was able to do that and control those fears, I was able to, control myself, and then hopefully have a positive impact on the world. Veterans, first responders, anyone else. I mean, it's not specific to just that demographic, but it's really for the world. And I've actually come up with I created a website recently. It's called 5 SEALsecrets.com. And you can have really that SEAL mindset. It's about a 7 to 8 page PDF that really lays out what Get Naked is all about.
It's amazing how, and I find it particularly amazing how you are willing to throw on gear, get dropped in some remote place in the middle of the world with limited resources, expect to have a successful mission, and walk into that thing. And I don't want to say fearless, because your heightened sense of fear is a little bit different. But then you come to civilian life, and that lack of purpose, that where somebody's not telling you what to do, all of a sudden that becomes one of your greatest fears. And you found it at the end of the bottle, trying to cope with that. But how did you finally overcome it? Was it a rock bottom event? Was it something, sometimes it's family, sometimes it's intervention. What was it that got you out of there into that next phase of your life?
I think, let me think about this. I've been asked the question before, but just to kind of address the other thing that you were saying, you dropped me in a remote area of the world with limited capabilities, limited equipment. I'm trained to do that. I know how to do that. Before we do that, we do this a whole bunch of training, very specialized, very high level. If we need, special coaches to teach us how to like climb the sides of buildings or do whatever, we go and find those coaches and we get the training that we need. We don't have that for transitioning out of the military. There's no and it's a huge problem for many veterans transitioning from the military to civilian.
Oh, you're right. And when you're right, you're right. And you're always right.
That's right.
And I totally forgot the question. Actually,
no.
I told you I start rambling and I'll get lost.
No worries, man. You were talking about.
That's my fault. I was just feeling it really hard because
it's all good. I forgot the question before that came up. So
yeah, no worries. We were talking
time to come back to it.
Yeah. We were talking about being prepared for that transition from civilian life from military life to civilian life, losing that purpose.
Oh yeah, was there like a rock bottom place or something like that? So for me, it was, I have baggage from work. I also have baggage from some toxic relationships in my past. And so I knew that I wanted to improve. I knew that I wanted to get better. But what it really took was me starting to put a team together. And so, I have a friend of mine, Ray Care, who was in my very first SEAL platoon. He was an old guy. I was a new guy. He had done one platoon more than me. So that made him experienced. And so, I reconnected with him and I started to put my team back together outside of the SEAL teams. And so, and it was interesting. Ray was my first introduction, not really my introduction to CBD. I was interested in CBD, but I was like, I had lunch with Ray. I went to Virginia to handle some business and I had lunch with him and I'm like, and I haven't seen him for like 15 years. And I said, hey, awesome having lunch. I'm going to see if I can go find some CBD and maybe that'll help, the issues that I have. And so I don't drink as much. And so he was like, you have CBD? You want CBD? I have some actually at my house. I'll give you a bottle, because the company had given him some because he's a little bit of an Instagram influencer. So he gave me my first bottle of CBD. And then that night, maybe I slept a little bit better. And the next morning I was a little less pissed off. But I like to tell people that water boils at 212 degrees. And I was probably living at 210 degrees. And I didn't know this at the time. What I noticed was after about the 30 days, after I finished that bottle of CBD, using it every day, I was just less pissed off. I was less angry. I went from like 210 to 205 to 200 to 180. And, maybe I stopped around the 180 mark and some aches and pains in my body were just less bad. And so, and then I stopped taking CBD and then I noticed that my fuse started getting shorter again. And so I'm like, well, maybe there was something to that. Maybe it's placebo. I don't know. So I tried a different brand of CBD. I had similar effects. And then I was at a business conference. And in the meantime, like, as I'm like having these micro improvements and not really even knowing that it's happening until after the fact, after I look back on it, I'm like, I have less pain. I have less anxiety. My sleep is a little bit better. I have a longer fuse. I'm able to deal with stuff. I'm able to drink less. Because I can manage that noise in my head and have positive self-talk instead of just drinking to turn it off, drink myself to sleep every night. It wasn't like a rock bottom. It was just a gradual climb out of where I didn't even know that I was at the bottom. And it was like looking back on it, I was like, oh, I'm better now. So let's keep being better and keep building a team of people, surround myself. Because again, in the SEAL teams, they push us every single day. It doesn't matter if it's a senior guy or a junior guy. The most junior guy is going to push me, even if I'm his leader, because I'm going to try to beat that guy in everything that he does. And he's going to try to beat me in everything that I do. And so when you have that built-in competition, it's friendly competition. And good Lord, if you're a new guy and the old guy beats you, all hell's going to break loose. So for sure, I want to win and talk as much smack as I can. But that's just part of it. It was a build. As I was climbing out, I didn't even know that I was in this pit of despair. And I got better quality of life. I had better self-talk. I had, started surrounding myself with better people. And these people were like lifting me up. They weren't reaching down and pulling me up. I wanted to be more like them. So I'm climbing the rope. I'm climbing out because I want to be better. I want to be more like that person or those people that I'm trying to be part of my new SEAL team on the outside.
So, I mean, it sounds to me like it's a lot like accountability, right? Like you came out of the military and all of a sudden, even though you were around family, you felt by yourself. It sounds like, all of a sudden there's nobody here telling you, hey, show up to this spot. There's nobody telling you, hey, you got to do this. You're trying to figure it out on your own. And it wasn't until you reached out to essentially building your team, essentially an accountability partner, that you had a reason to keep going. All of a sudden it's like, well, I'm going to get better. Like you're fueled by competition. And it's funny because James and I just ran a marathon recently. And, as we start, he's always been faster than me. Right. So he's running and I'm over here trying to keep up with him. And then he starts to wind down. And so I keep pushing. He's trying to keep up with me. Like, we have that competitive nature in us. I mean, right. You're right. It's friendly. But it's also the thing that fuels you and keeps you going. I mean, that's part of who you are. It's the reason why you became a SEAL. It's when you want to be better and improve yourself. So once you have that you want to be the best. Doesn't matter. I don't care if we're playing quarters. I don't care if we're playing flip cup. I don't care what it is. I'm going to be better than you just because you're trying to compete with me, right? So
ain't no thing like me except me.
That's right, Rocket. So once you had that in place, now tell me what life has been like. You started to put together, Get Naked. You have a purpose again. You have a team surrounding you. What happened to your life and where's it going now?
So now I'm still building the team. I'm still trying to improve. Every time I look at myself, I'm like, I want to be there. I want to be like, it's just part of that never quit mindset, that in for never quit. Build these small attainable goals. That's part of the big plan. And achieve that every single day. Just crush one goal at a time and keep going. And there's never an end. In my opinion, there's never an end. And I kind of learned this. I had a desk job where I was running the program for building all the cold weather equipment for all of Special Forces. And what we would do is we would work with, companies like Patagonia and North Face and some other companies. We would build articles of clothing. We would go to Alaska and climb mountains. And we have some SEALs that live up in Alaska, and they were leading the charge on a lot of this. And I was riding a desk, and I wasn't being the Navy SEAL of my own life, and I was getting a little bit out of shape, not as fit as I should be. I had plenty of opportunity, but we would go to Alaska and we would climb these mountains, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm dying here. And you sweat it up, and then you put these warm clothes on, and then you dry out from the inside out. And, but we would be climbing and, they would say, you see that peak right there? I'm like, yeah, I'm happy to see it. That's not the top. Oh. And then we would go like to the next, you see that peak? That's not the top either. That's a false peak. So life just has these false peaks. So you never want to ever peak. Like you get to that peak, you're like, okay, let's go get the next one. You hit that next mountain. There's a taller one right behind it. Let's just keep going all the way to the top. And for me, I don't think that I will ever peak. And I think the most successful people, entrepreneurs, business people, whoever, they never peak. They're always going. I mean, there's like millionaires and billionaires. They just continue to climb that mountain. They don't care. They have technique. They've got stamina. They know how to do it a little bit better than you do, but they're just going to keep climbing because that's their purpose. That's their plan. That's how that's their discipline. And when you have that structure in your life, whether it's created by yourself or by other people, that you need discipline. And I was just listening to something the other day that said, the difference between the people who commit suicide and the people who don't are the people with structure are less likely to commit suicide than the people who have no structure. They have no purpose. They have no mission. They have no meaning. And so they just feel like, well, what is this life for? And so if you build structure and purpose into your life and you build those mini wins every single day, sometimes a win is just getting out of bed before your alarm clock goes off. Sometimes your win is just not hitting the snooze button, even though you had a terrible night's sleep. Get up and start the day. Sometimes a win is just writing down your goals for tomorrow so that as soon as you get up, you can start working on those. And so that's part of never quit. It's part of
Oh, dude.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Dude, Marty, I mean, dude, you are exactly right. You know, the routines that one sets for themselves, those are the things that keep you going through your day. It's the process. I mean, your story describes what happened when someone does not have any type of routine, any type of purpose. You know, when you talk to people who aren't even in military life and you ask them about, you know, when was the greatest time of your life, they'll often go back to high school. They'll often go back to college. And those were the days where at that time you were stressed out. You had to go to first period, second period, PE, after school. Like your day was laid out. Right. And even though you weren't happy about every single thing you had to do, you knew what was coming next. Without purpose, without routine, we're lost. We as human beings, I mean, you know, doing nothing sounds good until you start doing nothing for a long period of time. Then all of a sudden it ain't too great anymore. Damn right it sucks. Before we head out, you got a couple websites scrolling across the bottom here, nw-recovery.com. And then you already told us about 5sealsecrets.com. What are we going to find at those other websites? And if people want to work with you, how can they get a hold of you?
So nw-recovery.com, that is my main CBD site. And I already covered, 5 Seal Secrets. So just go in there, put your name and email address, and I'll email you a link for 5 Seal Secrets. It's just like I said, it's a PDF. And if you're, because maybe you're not into the CBD, but you're into the mindset part of it. So on the CBD side, it's nw-recovery.com because NW stands for Naked Warrior. But I made it NW because maybe some people don't want to put naked into their search engine. So
smart move.
You can still put Naked Warrior Recovery in there and get me. But you can also follow me on Instagram, Naked Warrior Recovery, just like it says right there. And I'm on other platforms, but Instagram is the one that I'm most active on.
Well, tell me a little bit about
what I put on Instagram and put it on the other platforms.
Perfect. Tell me a little bit about that CBD market that you have. What can we expect? Somebody who's never done it before, maybe they're in the military and they're going through some stuff. They're like, you know what? Maybe I should give this a shot. What should I expect? What can I find there? What should I start with?
So that's a complicated question. I'll try to give you a simple answer though. CBD. So the 95% of the products that I carry are a broad spectrum, which means they have most of the minor cannabinoids and terpenes from the hemp plant in the oil. So we remove the THC component with the THC molecule and maintain most of the other minor cannabinoids and terpenes. So CBD is like it works. CBD. This is the bro science of CBD. So every mammal has what's called an endocannabinoid system. The endocannabinoid system is a giant neuroreceptor. You even have them in your skin. Giant neuroreceptor that's connected to every other system in your body. Think your respiratory system, your central nervous system, your digestive system, your immune system. It's connected to every single system in your body. And so sometimes that system gets out of whack because some other system in your body is kind of out of whack. And so what you make natural endogenous cannabinoids. You make anandamide, which is the bliss molecule, which is very closely related to THC. It helps with the upregulation of serotonin. It's like the runner's high that you get. And then there's 2AG. What did I say? 2AG. Anandamide is the bliss molecule. I'm not sure what 2AG does, but anyway. So those feed your endocannabinoid system, but sometimes you don't make enough, or your endocannabinoid system has such dysfunction that it needs more help, needs more support. And so CBD is sort of like this super multivitamin for your endocannabinoid system. It goes in there and it helps bring your endocannabinoid system back into homeostasis, and that helps bring your other systems back into homeostasis to work properly and let your body heal itself. CBD is not really healing anything or curing anything, although it does reduce chronic inflammation and some pain, but overall it's really supporting your endocannabinoid system.
All right, ladies and gents, you heard it. CBD, no THC, which means no little high. I don't know if CBD still gives you the munchies or not. Maybe that's just the THC thing. Who knows? But you guys got to check it out. I mean, there is a lot of research that goes into CBD. It's very popular. And what state are you in, William? You don't? Are you in California?
No, I'm in Hawaii. But
you're in Hawaii.
I only sell online. It's legal in all 50 states. It's from my website, Naked Warrior Recovery. It's a very saturated market. It's also a very corrupt market. So be very careful about the products that you buy. If they don't have independent lab, third-party testing for every product that is on there and for every lot, for every batch, then I would be a little cautious about buying it. Someone asked me once upon a time, what's the difference between your CBD and the CBD that we can get in a gas station? And the reply is, so what's the difference between the sushi that you get from a sushi house and the sushi that you buy from a gas station? Do you really want to roll the bones with gas station sushi?
That is a great point. All right, William, real quick. We are a testimonial company, and that's a great analogy, by the way. I think I'm going to use that for a lot of other things.
You're welcome to steal it.
We're a testimonial company. We like to help business owners grow using Facebook ads and testimonials. So can you do me a favor? Can you let people know what was your experience like on the Business Bros podcast?
Dude, it was awesome. This was a fantastic experience. I love your lead up and I love your closeout. It's, especially it's very interactive. It was a super fun podcast to be on. And I've been on quite a few because,
awesome.
There's no other way for me to market CBD. Like I can't run Facebook ads. I can't run ads on Instagram because according to them, it's an illegal substance. And I don't have deep pockets like some of the other like bigger companies do. So, being on podcast and being super interactive and getting to know the guest, it's been an absolute fantastic experience. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. All right, ladies and gents, you heard it. This is another opportunity for you to check it out. If you're in the military, we're in San Diego, so I know we got a lot of military people out there. If you're an entrepreneur, you're wondering how you're going to get through your day. You heard about people smoking weed, but you don't really want to do that. CBD might be your answer. So go check it out. NW-recovery.com, right? .com. Yes. NW-recovery.com. Go check it out. Order from William. He's out there in Hawaii. I'm going to be we're going to go check out Pearl Harbor here Labor Day weekend. So, that's going to be an awesome experience. Ladies and gents, that's all we got for you guys today. Make sure you guys check that stuff out. And of course, if you guys want to get some work done for your businesses, maybe you got some testimonials, maybe you got some customers that you want to reach and you just don't know how, go to businessbros.biz. We'd love to be of service to help you out. William, thank you again for coming on the show. Ladies and gents, we'll see you guys mañana. Peace. And we're out.
Shut up and
Thank you for listening to the Business Bros Podcast. Are you looking to get more clients or to increase your income? Hernan, the business bro, can help you generate referrals through the power of podcasting. And James, the insurance bro with Pipeline Insurance, can help you effectively add insurance to your existing business. If you are ready to create wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow, email businessbros@seeusfirst.com to schedule a free consultation or join the Business Bros Network, www.businessbros.biz.